It's very obvious after seeing the beginning of this episode that you and Gurren are very, very similar. Like, they're very, very similar when it comes to their personalities. And I don't know if this has been mentioned before. It might have, so this could be just, you know, not a correct theory. I could just be pulling something randomly out of my ass, but I'm just going to say something real quick. Like I said, I don't know if this has ever been confirmed or not. I'm just, you know, doing this theory because I don't remember if it was ever clarified or not from episode 1 or episode 2. So, I don't know if it's just me, but does anyone else get, like, some vibes that Gurren is like a father figure, a fatherly figure to you? Like, look at their hair. Their hair is very similar. If you look at it, their design is slightly similar along with their personality. Now, I know that Yu was abandoned as a child. I mean, we know he was abandoned and stuff like that, and he was sent to the orphanage. But I don't think it was ever clarified. Did it ever clarify if Yu's family was dead or father or mother was dead? I don't think it ever clarified that on episode 1. I'll probably have to go check that out after this episode review I do here. But I don't think it was ever clarified, because if not, I believe that Gurren might be the father of Yu. I'm assuming. I want to make that theory because it's not uncommon when it comes to shonen, and judging by how this shonen does use a lot of cliches we have seen from a lot of shonen series, I'm going to assume that something like that's not entirely not possible. I mean, it's possible something like that can happen. So, with this episode of Seraph of the End, the first half, or not the first half, like the first 3 to 4 minutes is kind of like a recap. I mean, it shows you what is going on the vampire side. As we know in the last week's episode, they were declaring war, and you kind of get that recap at the beginning of this episode, like recap, we're going to start war, we will not allow these humans to spread, and, you know, make this plague that happened like 8 or so years ago happen again, stuff like that. So, you know that they're meaning business, they're about to start attacking humans and stuff like that. And you had it to where Yu's best friend that supposedly died, even though it was spoiled on episode 2's opening. I'm still salty about that, by the way. I'm still salty. But the boy, you know, Yu's friend, walking around as a vampire through the town, the vampire city, and you see these actual kids that were on the side of the road, like, passed out and unconscious and stuff like that. And you can assume that the other main male character is looking as if he was once in that situation and he knows how they feel, and he eventually goes into like the orphanage door, like he opens up the door and he sees these 2 kids, and you see how these kids look at him as if he's a monster. So you see that he's having these identity issues, this identity crisis, because he realizes that he was once human, he's no longer human, he's a vampire, people don't really like him anymore, the humans don't like him, and probably vampires don't like him either if you think about it, because, I mean, he was just forced in there out of nowhere when he was once a human and turned into a vampire, so you know for a fact both sides don't like him at all. It's very, very obvious. So, yeah, the first couple minutes of the episode is kind of showing that Yu's friend, he's not necessarily evil. It doesn't seem like he's turned over to the dark side. It seems like he's actually still good in the inside, because, I mean, if he was an asshole and he didn't care, he would have attacked those children at this episode. Like, he would attack them and beat the shit out of them if he didn't care for them at all, or care for humans. So, clearly, he does have his humanity still, even though he is a vampire. Now, the next segments of this episode, the main other focus is just getting the prep and setup for the Black Demon series weapons. That's what I think the exact title of that is called. And so our main characters, our main cast, is going to get their weapons, their cursed gear, and they're about to issue their challenge to where they're about to battle a demon inside of their mind. And that is where the episode ends off. And judging by the preview of the end of this episode, you can assume that majority of next week's episode is going to be focusing on those characters fighting inside their minds against this demon. And from the way it was done, too, you can assume that we're probably going to get some characterization, some development for the characters, and along with getting to see, you know, how their backstories really were. Because in the preview, you see it to how the main cast of characters that's been slowly introduced, you got to see how their hardships are being fleshed out. Like, you saw some of the, you know, hardships that they probably overcome in their previous, like, time before they became a part of the school. You see how they were battling that demon and stuff like that. So clearly, we're going to get some characterization on some of these side characters. So I can't wait to see exactly how some of these characters are going to be. Overall, though, I highly doubt any character is going to die in this struggle with the Black Demon series weapons, I highly doubt any of them will die. If there's anyone that's gonna die, it'd probably be the main character, but like I said, he's the main character. He won't fucking die. The reason why I say that is because the way it was set up, it just felt too obvious for someone to die. Like, you know how they were trying to make it to where, the other boy, the boy that they said, like, oh, you shouldn't join, you shouldn't go after this, you shouldn't try to battle a demon because you're not ready. Well, the way that was done, you can assume that he has death flags planted on top of him, but I highly doubt a character like him is going to be killed off unless this wants to go down that path, which, if it does, wow, but... So yeah, that's about it when it comes to this episode. It was enjoyable. I had a lot of fun watching it. We'll have to see how it goes next week. Animation quality, for the most part, it was okay. It was very consistent, but there was some derps here and there, especially when it came towards the middle segment of the episode. There was some art derps. Now, animation, art derps. There was some faces that seemed very off, especially with the lighting and stuff like that, but it's nothing too bad. BDs, DVDs usually fix that stuff up, so it's nothing to really say, like, oh my god, it's fucking terrible. So tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.